Sagittarius, 6 months from now, everything that's happening at this time is going to make sense. Until then, pay attention to the words spoken, but the actions not taken. The spiritual advice card that fell out for all of my Sagittarius friends for the month of January 2022 is the Nine of Spades. The Nine of Spades, when this fell out, the very first thing that came to mind was that this card has absolutely nothing to do with you. It has to do with the actions of other people. You are stepping into some kind of new situation, a new opportunity of some sort that is not new, but it is being revisited. And so now what's happening is that there is going to be a lot that is going to be moving and shifting. Quite frankly, after the full moon in Cancer, you are going to be very busy and momentum is going to be picking up. That's what I'm seeing for a lot of you. And so what is going to happen during this time is that there is going to be a lot that's going to happen, a lot of things that are going to be said, but somehow the actions will not match. And this is going to catch your attention. This is going to now start to be something that you are going to really notice with some key important people in your life. But I see that they're not maybe as close to you yet. It could be acquaintances, or it could be people that you're working with, like coworkers, or it could be maybe family members that you are meeting for the very first time in a long time again. So what you're doing is you're in this place, or energetically what I'm seeing is that you're in this place where you're learning a lot about yourself based on what it is that they're not doing, or based on the actions that are not being taken. So these are the themes we're going to unpack a lot more when we are taking a look at the tarot reading. For now, we're going to dive into the astrology chart and see where exactly the full moon and the Venus retrograde is happening for you guys. And let's dive right in. So Sagittarius, this is your chart for the upcoming full moon in Cancer. We're going to take a look at when the sun is actually going to be trining the North Node, what that means. And then we're going to wrap it up with the Venus retrograde. So the first thing I want to start out with is the full moon in Cancer. It's going to be a powerful full moon. The reason it's powerful is because it is going to be at 27 degrees. The moon is comfortable in the sign of Cancer. So there is a very big sense of feeling ready when we come into the week of January 17th. It's almost like all of our power comes sort of back online, but first it's an emotional experience. And the way that I would describe the full moon in Cancer would be that there are three themes. The first one is protection. The second one is caution. The third one is overly emotional. Now, it doesn't always have to be a bad experience to be overly emotional, in the sense that there might just be a sense of being ready, feeling like you're ready to move on. You're ready to just go into the week with this energy of wanting to move things forward in your life. Now, where is this happening for you? The full moon is happening between your second and the eighth house. These are money houses. These are houses that have to do with commitment. And they have a lot to do with your worth and what you define as worth. So you are closing the chapter to how you are making money and opening up a new chapter to how you need to make money. And you're looking at, with this full moon in Cancer, at a commitment that comes to somebody else and their involvement in money. It could be that they're paying you. They're like a new boss or a new employee, or it could be that this person is somehow connected to you as far as like a family member goes, but you have been definitely with Pluto in the second house for quite some time. You have been working on your finances. You've been reevaluating what worth really looks like and how you have really viewed yourself inside of this picture of making money and how you attract money into your life. And what is it like? You know, what's the truth about that? And so you've been working through the degrees with Pluto in Capricorn. Capricorn has a lot to do with the types of legacy we want to leave behind, but also with the kind of action we're taking, because Capricorn focuses not on any kind of action. It has to be deliberate. So the full moon ignites these two houses. There could be eternal events that is happening. Finally, a chapter that is closing and a new chapter that's happening, that's opening up. And you're going to feel very ready to go into the week with these new commitments that are forming. Now, the very next day, the sun is going to be trining the North Node in Taurus. And this is when you're going to start to realize that, the commitments that you're making as far as money goes, now you're going to have to change the way in which you live, the daily habits, the daily rhythm. Something has to change here. And that is where the new glimpse of what that is going to look like, the new vision, the new approach starts to come in. You're going to work this over the next year and a half, because the node in Taurus and the south node in Scorpio, they are going to be now between your 6th and the 12th house over the course of 18 months. So you're going to be working on upgrading your lifestyle and making sure that somehow the boundaries are still kept with your faith and your spirituality. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into it at other horoscopes that we're going to take a look at, but this is the big shift that you're going to experience. And it's huge this week. The reason why it's huge is because the nodes are coming out of your 1st and 7th house, and they're dropping into the 12th and the 6th house. So I want to recap real quick what that means. The chapter that you're closing has a lot to do with you changing your mind on your role inside of relationships. Who are you inside of relationships? The North Node in Gemini was in the 7th house, the house of bonds to people that are really close to you. And what is that like? And then your behavior in regards to that. You've been taking a look at it, your behavior or social behavior, especially with the South Node in Sagittarius. You may have noticed that, who you are is maybe not the kind of person that you want to be moving forward. So the way in which you're portraying yourself, that may have now recentered over the last 18 months. So that is what you're leaving behind. And you're going to work out a new daily regime, a new daily worth in regards to how you spend your time and what you do, but in a methodical way. It has to be sustainable and it has to have good boundaries. So more to come with these two houses. Now, the last thing that I do want to talk about is the Venus retrograde that has also been in your 2nd house. So you have the Sun, Pluto, and Venus now here. Venus has been here since November 5th in the sign of Capricorn. And you have been definitely taking a look at what your goals are with finances, real estate, anything that supports you in the physical sense. So many of you, I feel, have been viewing your role within money making. What is your role within money making? How do you desire to make money? And perhaps you've been also taking a look at the relationship you have to other people in your life that are involved in this subject. So with Venus here retrograding, you have been reviewing what you're going to do and what you will not do moving forward. And sometimes that may have not been easy, because this is coming with a letting go, because this Venus retrograde, in my opinion, is bringing us back to a sense of being whole, but not all relationships are going to make the cut. So for you, with Venus representing new desires here and new ways in which you want to feel about money making, that is also going to come with a cut of relationships. And this will become a lot more clear on who you let into your life and who you don't let into your life when Venus actually goes back online on the 29th of January. And that's what I'm predicting here for you for your astrology chart. Let's move on to your tarot. Sagittarius, your cards for January 2022 are really interesting. The 5 of Cups is the first card that fell out, which is going to be a time that is indicated of reflection and deep sort of reevaluating your emotional approaches to situations in your life that are new. This Death card that is in the 2nd position, you are really ending some old behavior with yourself that has a lot to do with you undervaluing what you're doing,
or it has to do a lot with some kind of attachment or some kind of behavior towards yourself that was very self-diminishing. That's coming to an end. The key is to allow for that to come to an end, for you to get really to the truth and the bottom of it. This month wants to show you that. The third position card is the Knight of Pentacles. And so what's really the aim this month, the cards are saying, is to upgrade the way in which you're making money and the way in which you're approaching money making, a schedule around that. And what's happening is that you are to review how to take action in this area, or maybe you have reviewed how to take action in this area, but now you are to move forward now with the actions that you're taking. This is really interesting because the way in which you're going to make money or something in regards to your schedule is going to change in regards to money making. Now, some of you are moving. There is a move that's coming up, or a relocation of where your time is going to be spent, perhaps between jobs, perhaps between some type of scenario where you are having to travel could also come up, because now you're under bigger responsibilities because the money-making aspect of your life is changing. So there is some kind of an upgrade that comes with it, but the time investment is changing as well. So it's not that you're maybe making more money with less work. It actually is gonna, for a lot of you, I'm seeing that you're making more money, or there's a potential to make more money, but it also comes with having to move, having to relocate, or having to really dig into what your schedule is going to look like. Naturally, when that is happening, it impacts other areas of our life. Now, if you have relationships in your life that used to be with a particular pattern or particular dynamic or particular behaviors that you guys are used to, these behaviors are going to change. And that is going to be the challenge for you to know that this is something that is necessary now, that the dynamics are changing and allowing for that change to happen. Again, the death and the rebirth card oftentimes have to do with, are you allowing for this change to happen? It is a breakthrough in the sense, but you have to allow for things to be different. And you may have to experiment all throughout this year on what your belief systems look like now. Because perhaps one of you were always in this role of providing and then the other one was not, or it could be any dynamic, right? But what's switching for you, what I'm seeing is that you're stepping into a much different version of money making. And so your boundaries are increasing, your capacity to manage money and commitments are changing. And so therefore it impacts relationships. The Seven of Wands, the challenge here this month is going to be to hold your value down for this new future. Take the time that you need in order to rethink this aspect. The other thing that I want to just share with you is, right now, you are to pay attention to relationships that are not, like I said in the very beginning of this video, pay attention to not what they're saying, but pay attention to what they're doing. This whole year is going to be like that. It's really just going to be like that for you guys. Like, there are some relationships in your life right now that they talk a lot, they're promising a lot, but they're not going to be able to back it. They're not going to be able to back it. You need to hear this message. No matter how much they say it's going to be a particular way, the reality of the situation is it's not. You have to take this into consideration. Is it a bad thing? Maybe not. You have to take into consideration what you believe about that. You have to take into consideration the experimenting of value and boundary. So like, is this a boundary that's going to get crossed? How do you feel about it? You will not be able to tell yet, because there is some kind of a project or there's some kind of chapter that is yet to begin. And so it will begin at the end of this month. And there's a lot of moving pieces. You're going, you're moving, you're going. There's a lot of moving pieces to it. I want to clarify a little bit about the Seven of Wands, the actions that are not taken. And they're not related to you per se. They are impactful to you though, okay? So there is this interesting Four of Diamonds, right? Fell out, and the Three of Diamonds fell out. So I'm clarifying the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is a card that has oftentimes to do with us physically coming to a particular part in our life where we have to reset, okay? The physical aspect of our life has to reset. Now, it can have to do with health, but oftentimes, in my opinion, the Seven of Wands has to do with how we apply our willpower, okay? Our will, how is it applied? What do you do, right? And where does your energy may not be balanced. With the seven, it's not a focus on balance, but it's actually a focus on, okay, so intuitively, what feels right, all right? The Four of Diamonds and the Three of Diamonds, there was a foundation here that was a part of the foundation or part of the pattern that you've lived out. But now the Three of Diamonds is you got to take a risk to do things different. That risk requires for you to believe in yourself. That risk also requires for you to act a little bit faster than what maybe you were doing before. But at the same time, when you are doing that, what is happening in the background is that your relationships, some of them are not going to be at the same exact energetic level. Not that your level is better than theirs or whatever, you want to interpret this as, but what the cards are saying is it's just not going to feel the same. So as a result, there is a change in value in relationships that is happening, and the belief about certain relationships is going to change as well. Your job this month is to observe, hermit, and to act on the things that feel right to you. And that's what I'm seeing for you, Sagittarius.
That's a wrap on today's episode. I hope that you liked this video. I hope that it provided you the guidance that you need in order to navigate through this month. Thank you so much for being here. I would love to stay connected to you, so be sure to subscribe. You can also follow me on Instagram or TikTok at Uprise Astrology Podcast, and I will see you here in the next episode.